What do we have here today? Just give me a second. I'm going to bring up the desktop. We got Barb. Barb, my friend, how are you? And William says, hello, Barb and Lee. Happy to see you both. I am too. As well as happy to see you, William. And Lee says, happy to see you all. Appreciate you guys coming by. There we go. I got my live stream up on the desktop so I can easily see it. I got my cat sitting next to me. And I got a couple friends in the live stream. What more do I need? This is it, guys. I'm living the dream. Barb says, just dropping by to support Yogi. Much appreciated. Barb, how are you feeling today? So I just put up my first video on the members. I'm not sure how I like the way that sounds. But I'll get used to it. I think. Just give me one quick second. So anyway, I put up my first video for the members. It is just an easy introduction of what yoga is according to Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Sutra is it literally means stitch. It's where we got sutras in medical terms. And it is stringing together short, meaningful, pithy writings, sutras, to give a narrative. And the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali is considered one of the holy texts of yoga. Barb says, feeling strange? How so? Asia's here. Asia says, howdy. Howdy, my friend. How are you, Asia? He says, Eric, you're right. The simple things in life are often the most enjoyable. Oh, definitely. I would say, man, I might even go so far as to say that simple things are the only enjoyable things. Everything else, all the complicated stuff, they might be something stimulating, action-filled, adrenaline rush, but are they enjoyable? Do they bring us that deep sense of peace? Hey, just said Barb, and how's your day been, Barb? Sue is here. Sue, how are you? We get a wave from Sue. AJ said, I'm good. How's your day been, Yogi? My day has been pretty good. Saw a fox this morning. I was unable to capture it on film. It's just too fast for me. In the early mornings, I'm using an infrared camera, which means I got to turn it on, which takes longer. And then I got to click it on from photo to film. And I have to press the infrared button. I got to take the specific cap off. And then I got to get it in range and I got to focus. So you can't do quick stuff. Quickish, but not real quick stuff. So I missed the fox and a hawk early this morning. However, I saw a fox and I saw a hawk. Not everything's meant to be captured, you know. Some things we're only meant to see and to enjoy. I like it when I can see and enjoy and get it on film so I can share it with you guys. It's not always the case. Lisa say Sue, lovely to see you. So around praying mantis this morning and got the capture and posted it. Awesome. I'll be checking it out after the live stream. This is your second, right? Second praying mantis for the year. I still haven't seen any. Mocha saw one. I got a film of one from her, but I haven't seen any yet. Lisa, Sue, how intriguing. I'll check out later on your channel. Nice. Mur, how are you, my friend? You guys now have the great opportunity to be a channel member for Mur. Or if you are unable or don't want to join, you can also give him a super chat, a well-deserved super chat. Sue says, oh, I got another dragonfly. Awesome. Love dragonflies. I've only been able to get a good shot of them once or twice. They're so quick. Sue says, yes, my second. My second walk, I got a turtle. I posted that. I got some more mushrooms. I haven't posted those yet. I need to take a bunch of mushroom stuff, not take as in ingest, photos, film, to last me through the course of the year until they come back again. So that way I can, throughout the year, post mushroom stuff for people. Mer says, I'm good. Thanks for asking. And how are you, sir? I'm good too. Mer says, so Yogi, my third member is Brother Jace. Awesome. He says, nice to see Sean in the chat the other day. Eric, he seems like a decent guy. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Man, what I love about you guys is your sincerity. That you both see where you are now. It's the same with so many of you guys. It's the same with William. You see where you are now. You see that it's not bringing you everything you need, and you are looking for a way to get what you need. You're looking for a way to get to that sense of peacefulness. Donatella says, name a famous rapist for me to make an edit. I don't know any. You lost me on that one. Sue says, I think one was taunting me at my first stop of the day. It stayed right in front of me, but took off while I was trying to get my phone out of my pocket. Yeah, they know. They know what they're doing. They try to play all innocent like they don't know. They do. Let's see. Cube Combinator. Cube Combinator. That's an awesome name, my friend. Says hi. Hello, my friend. Cube says, thank you. You're welcome. I am a firm believer, guys, that everyone's an artist. Every single person is an artist. You might not have discovered your artistic dharma. Remember, dharma in Sanskrit means purpose, reason. Everyone has a dharma. I think of that every time I pick up a worm and move it off the sidewalk when the sun's coming out, every time I make an effort to avoid stepping on an ant, there's no such thing as a small life. There's only life. Everyone has a dharma. Everything has a dharma. Who am I to interfere with the dharma of anything or anyone? But specifically, we all have this artistic dharma, inspiration speaking through us, but we push that aside in order to make a living. And I can't begin to tell you how much I dislike that saying, make a living. As if you could ever make a living. You were granted a living. You received a living. It comes through grace. However, we do pursue an income, and we often confuse the income with our living. The two aren't the same. Let's see. I cut my farts. Says, hello, my friend. Are you homeless? Do you need money? I do not. I am not. I actually own my own home. And money. We're getting by. But hey, I appreciate that. And your channel name is making me laugh, my friend. Let's see. iCup says, proud of you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, through no work of my own, I'll tell you that. I inherited a house. William says, okay, back to my car, can respond. Well, welcome back, William. So the reason I mentioned everyone being an artist of some kind, if you go visit Just One Sue, you see the artist that Sue is. There's a great eye for capturing the animals, the wildlife, the scenery, the sky, the water around her. Her perspective and sharing it with everyone. Absolutely love it. It doesn't have to be. Our friend Asia, an incredible writer. I've been fortunate, and she's shown faith in me to share some of her writings with me. So everyone's got something, but because again we get so caught up in being so busy, thinking this is what we're supposed to do, and then eventually when we retire, we'll do something for relaxation. We'll learn how to paint, or we'll get back to painting, or we'll pick up the guitar again. YouTube provides a wonderful opportunity, guys. You can share your art, whatever that might be, with everyone. And the great thing with art, it's meant to be shared. You could keep it to yourself, but I think it's always better for me. I share my stuff, I release it, and then you just let it go. Don't concern yourself with critiques, insults. It'll happen. If you share, someone's going to have something to say. But it doesn't mean anything. Mir says, congratulations, William says, congratulations, Mir. Happy for success. William says, I am unfortunately broke and homeless. Scrounge to make this membership. Please, no one take offense. I will sub when I can. Hey, William, how can I make it easier for you? I'll be honest with you. If it came down to you becoming a member of my channel and getting a cup of coffee, 2 cups of coffee, I'd rather you get a cup of coffee. I'd rather you spend $5 and buy a bag of lentils. Odom's here. Odom, my friend, how are you? Here says, hey bro Odom, welcome bro. So anyway, that was a long-winded, um, out loud thought that I hope you guys are all doing something that makes your spirit sing. I hope you're listening to that inner voice of inspiration, um, and putting something out there. Whether you share it or not, I hope you pick up the guitar if you play, or the keyboards. I hope you write something. I hope you take a photo. I hope you do this. I hope you do that. Um, but whatever it is, we're not fully ourselves unless we're being creative in some way, some little part of us. Um, Barb, hey Barb, thank you for that. um, hey William, I've told this to a lot of people before that um, the best way to support people is with attention, and you are all over the place. I see you on so many live streams. I see you always having a kind word for people. I see you acting as a moderator. You've been a true friend of mine, and I'm not just talking about my channel. You've been a friend. I appreciate it. That's support. You support tons of people. Doesn't have to be with um, a membership. It doesn't have to be with money. It doesn't have to be anything other than the fact that you bring your attention to someone, to something that we do. Man, that's really appreciated. I see you leaving comments on people's channels, sharing people out. If anyone ever has an issue about your support, man, I got you back. Odom says, awesome, Barb. Definitely awesome. Thank you, Barb. Man, I really hope um, that, I did the intro video and then I just put one out for um, breath work and the beginning meaning of yoga, what we're going to do. So I hope I make it worthwhile for everyone. If I don't, hey guys, let me know. Barbara said that is another reason why I don't have a membership. Not many can afford it. Um, yeah, I was second guessing myself about the $4.99. I didn't see all the other options. I just saw that this was popular, it said, so I went with it. I sort of regret. I could do it. Maybe I will next month. I don't know. I can redo it, but then um, I would lose you and William who already signed up. We'll see. What I hope to do is make it worth your while. That's my plan. Odom says, awesome, Barb. I read that. Definitely awesome. Much appreciated. Roy says, so far 0 records, but ignorance of law does not excuse a crime. What do you mean, William? Mir says, Barb sister, you're so kind. Stay blessed. Good health and happiness. Absolutely, Mir. Sue says, William, I'd be happy with you just enjoying my content and leaving a thumbs up and a comment. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. That's why people do things. That's why Sue was sharing the things that are meaningful for her. Um, not to get built up. You know what I mean? Not to get this sense of look at me, I'm doing awesome stuff. But appreciation. I get to share the thing that is meaningful to me. I get to share the things that I find beautiful. I get to share the awesomeness of a yoga squirrel. When you see something like that and it strikes you all the way down to the soul and you think, I want other people to have that same experience. Wolf says, William, welcome, Wolf. We all support in the best way we can, no matter what way. Absolutely. Prescott says, oh my God, Barb is a member. Yes, she is. Barb says, Minnie does the 199. Yeah, I'm gonna see. I might eventually, maybe next month after everyone has like a month in, I might go to that. William says it's 98. Wow. Phone overheating, going to drive back, but have to close stream. But we'll be here for a bit. Bob says I am okay with it, for I donate many times. You certainly do, my friend, and it's always appreciated. Odom says, I think, can't remember, my membership start at 199, I think. Sue waves at Prescott. Rio says, Barb, I don't forget the first sister who's a member. Barb says, Odom, I joined. Rio says, so Yogi, money have no meaning. Just she asked me. I am with you, Mir appreciated. Oh, I agree 100%. You can tell, people who, you can tell where people's hearts are, especially on their channel. What are they doing? Why are they doing it? Do they just want to share? There's nothing the matter with, earning income, putting out what you love. But if that's the only reason you're doing it, do you really love it? It's just another job, if that's the case. Hey, Brian, how are you? Sue says, I get a kick out of people enjoying my content. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Me too. That's, man, nature shorts it's become an absolute passion for me. Just as much as my writing, which I've been doing every day for 26 years, and haphazardly for another 20 years before that. Nature shorts, it's only been a few months. I absolutely love it, though. Brian says he keeps trying to get on Thomas Two Caps Live, but it's not letting me. It's not loading. I wonder what's up with that. I didn't know he was live. It is 2 Pump Tuesday, guys. 2 pump burpees. Brian is another one. He puts out amazing nature videos. He's just got that, you're able to see the uniqueness of your surroundings. That's why I mentioned the yoga squirrel. You're not just seeing a squirrel, you are literally seeing a yoga squirrel, because you're seeing the uniqueness of the squirrel through the uniqueness of Sue's perspective. No one else in the universe is able to see a squirrel like that. and then she shares it with you. Brian says, so Eric, how are you? I'm doing good, Brian. How about you? Odom says, awesome to Barb. I needed to email me your address, P.O. Box. I shipped my members rooted fig tree, leaf of strawberry plants. Man, that's awesome. Prescott says, Yogi, are you fully ad monetized or donation monetized? I am fully ad monetized. The full boat. I got the donation monetized in May, and then just under a month after that, I got the full monetization. Brian says, hey, Odom posted short with cucumbers and tomatoes. Nice. Barb posts her email. Brian says he's good. Glad to hear. Odom says I have to come check that out, Brian. Sue says the moon was so bright last night. I threw my robe on and went outside to get a few captures and posted them. Nice. Really looking forward to hanging out at Sue's after the live stream. I'm going to make sure that I have that up now so I can just make a seamless transition. Asia says, I would love to read your writing as well. You want to share, Yogi? I have all my stuff in my community page. I posted in my blog. I should post my blog link, which I'll do. So yeah, I write on my blog. I share it on social media, and then I'll post it on my community page, along with a photo. Mostly photos of like sunrises. I have a particular affinity for the sunrise. Nothing the matter with sunsets. They seem a little more dramatic. Thank you, Asia. That's my blog link if anyone ever wants to visit. Brian says it hasn't done as many nature lately. We'll get back to him. Yeah, hey, especially with new seasons coming up. Did everything just get darker for a second? Or is it me? Sue says, my friend Chandra has been posting a lot of moose photos and videos of the moose that have been staying in her yard. She told me she stopped by one of your lives yesterday. Yeah, the last one. And she stayed for a while, and it was absolutely awesome. I loved having her. Turns out we are both deadheads. Obvious love of nature, and many, many other stuff. Man, she like jumped right in the conversation and was immediately like, it's like we've been longtime friends. And she was like that with everyone. Barb says, we have fig trees. Nice. I need to get a fig tree. How much care does a fig tree need? I'm a low maintenance gardener. I'm actually not a gardener. But if I were to be a gardener, I'd be a low maintenance gardener. What can I do low maintenance, gardening wise? Prescott says, hey Yogi, while I was browsing, oops, sorry, 1 second. Mir says, so Yogi, yesterday I meet with new birds. The leg is broken. I start treatment. I hope you're able to help him. What kind of bird is it, Mir? So Prescott says, hey Yogi, while I was browsing your name on Amazon, found another book by Eric P. McCarty, which I'm pretty sure is you. It's about meditation. Why did you say you only had 2 books? It's 3. Actually, I think I have 5 or 6. 5 or 6, maybe 7. I don't remember. I'll be honest with you. I don't think much about my books one way or the other. I just don't think of them. I'm not saying I think about them, that I don't, think they're good, think they're bad, or whatever. Um, they just don't come to mind all that often. It has a little bit more lately because, again, our friend Paradox, not Laradox, but Paradox, gave me a shout out. He got a copy of my one book to help him on his path of sobriety, and he gave me a little bit of a shout out. And then before that, our burpee friend Simon Tresgater did a book review of one of my books, and that was really nice. Brian says, I do have my nature playlist. I have to keep putting more on there. Absolutely, Brian. Asia says, okay. Odom says, what kind of fig tree do you have, Barb? Asia said, that's amazing. Yeah, you know what? Having a blog gives me a platform. I keep showing up. I know that I'm writing, and I do it every day. Doesn't matter if people come read it every day. It matters that I show up every day. That's what counts, guys. Prescott says, Asia, books by Eric P. McCarty, The Headless Path, Who is God's Hero? Thank you, Prescott. Barb says, yeah, Alton don't water his so we don't get too many figs, but we love strawberries. I love strawberries too. Blueberries are my favorite though. I think blueberries probably a true superfood. Packed with antioxidants, high in fiber. Just, man, excellent. Everyone should get 1 serving of blueberries a day. Odom wants to know if Barb got his email. Odom says, okay, Barb, I have a Wappa strawberry. They're Juneberry. Odom says, figs, low maintenance. All right, I'm going to have to look in on that. I got enough space in my backyard for a few things. I thought about doing, I remember Kay Renee talking about microgreens. Having a fig tree, that would be pretty cool. Sue says, there are 3 fig trees in my area. They're going crazy right now. Are you picking them? Are you picking the figs? How do you know when a fig is ready to be picked? Or do you just wait until they fall? Doesn't nature sort of have a foolproof way that when it falls, it's ready? If you're doing it for yourself, do you need to pick anything or can you just harvest? Barb says, white figs, I think. Wolf says, fig trees need water and to be trimmed. Also, a net to keep the birds away if you intend to get enough to put to some use. I'm just as happy to feed the birds as I am to feed myself. I think I would take what the birds didn't take. I think birds, for me, you know what I mean? Because I'm not living off my land. It would be a different story if I was. Birds should get first dibs, and I'll take what's left over. Barb says Louisiana weather is hard on figs. Too much rain? Prescott says, everyone to support Yogi, please buy his books. Well, thank you for that, Prescott. Appreciate the shout out. They might not be for everyone. Uh, one is a book on, I called it Does God Have a Hero? It's the first thing I wrote when I quit drinking. Meditations on Compassionate Living. Sort of given myself directions on this is where I want my life to head now that I've gained the perspective of sobriety. Sue says, Chandra and I have many things in common and post some very similar type of videos. Her boys are into Godzilla and dinosaurs big time too. Cool. I was never into Godzilla, but I think every kid has gone through the dinosaurs. For me as a kid, astronauts in space was big for a while because I was 4 years old with the moon launch. And I remember actually watching it on TV and just all the big deal that was made. So, yeah, that was huge for a long time. Asia says, hey guys, if you want to read some awesome stuff, go to Yogi's blogspot. Page there is amazing stuff. Well, thank you, Asia. There's a lot of stuff. Again, there's literally 20 plus years of daily writing. All the ups and downs, meditation, yoga, all different types of spirituality, from Buddhism to yoga to mystic traditions of Christianity. Blogged about being a caregiver for my father, being a caregiver for my mother. I blogged about my divorce. Thank you, Asia. Very much appreciate that. Ria says, when I treatment them, they stay with me at room This Bird's Second Chance, coming at my room. That's awesome, Mir. It's amazing that they can be that, they can have that connection with people, you know? Prescott says, Yogi, once in your community post, you posted an old image of yourself and you looked much more bigger in the photo. Why? Because I was much more bigger. I had long blonde hair. I was younger, and I was training for something different. I was training for, at that time, powerlifting. I purposely bulked up to 220 pounds so I could get a bigger bench press. I would never do that again. For one, I'm just too old for it. Not good for the joints. My interest changed. I no longer have an interest in how heavy I can lift. I'm just happy to be doing the stuff that I do. I also got into ultra running, so carrying all that weight was just unnecessary. But it was fun while it lasted, getting that big. I trained for bodybuilding from, man, I started working out. I was about 11 years old. And in my early teens, I started training for bodybuilding and did on again, off again all the way through my 20s, early 30s when I switched to powerlifting, and then Olympic lifting, and then kettlebell sport, and then ultra running with a lot of stops in between, some martial arts in between. Mir says, bird is very beautiful, sir. I can tell you love what you're doing, Mir. Barb says, have you seen how many people are planning in milk jugs and 3-liter Coke bottles? I have seen some of that. Odom says, most people do microgreens in the house. Yeah, I might look into that this winter, growing my own greens. I eat a lot of greens, so it makes me wonder if I would be able to grow enough. But I can probably grow enough to make it last, make the stuff that I buy last longer. Odom says it droops down, and you can see a little bit of honey coming out of the brown honey spots. Okay, so it's almost like it's asking to be picked. It's almost like it's extending an invitation. I like that. Barb says, did you know that most figs also have dead wasp in them? When I learned that, I don't eat them anymore. There's a certain wasp that drills in the into them and die and become part of the fig. I have read that. I talked about that with Odom. He says it's only certain figs in a certain part of the world. Because for me, that would make figs not vegan. Although if it becomes part of the fig, technically I could say it is vegan. Also, I don't think it really matters. But yeah, Odom says that it doesn't. It's not everywhere. It's not across the board. Barb says not enough rain. Huh? I would think that Louisiana had more rain than it does. I guess I'm sort of under that impression that it's sort of like Florida, that you get those daily storms. Sue says they turn purple color. Then they can be picked. These trees are on the other people's property along my walking route. I don't eat them, but I have picked some from one of my friends. Nice. I've never had a fig right off a tree. Odom says never had a problem with birds. Hardly ever watered if they're all on the ground. I saw a video of someone else's channel all about figs. I forget the name of it. I am subscribed. I haven't seen any from them recently. About pinching the vines in order to get more figs. Am I getting that correct? Barb drops a link. Oh, the Coke bottles. I gotta make sure I send that to Mocha as well. Hanging Garden. That's pretty awesome. Thanks, Barb. Runner Boy's here. Runner Boy, how are you? I missed your burpees. I went out for my walk and it turned out longer than I expected. But I had you up and running the whole time. How'd they go? Odom says they don't have any figs that takes the figs want to pollinate. All of mine are self-pollinated. Yeah, that's what you mentioned before. Barb says, I remember the moon landing. We were in Baton Rouge, big family event to watch it. Yeah, I was in front of the TV with my family. Odom says, wasp. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, you had mentioned that before. Sue says, I sent Chandra pictures of her Godzilla figurines at the antique market and ended up buying most of them for her boys for Christmas and sent them to her. Hey, that's pretty nice. Awesome. Amazing what you can see, what you can find at antique markets, flea markets, garage sales. If you guys want fitness equipment, yard sales and garage sales. Everyone's bought something and they get tired of stepping over it or putting the laundry on it or using it for a storage space. They get rid of it. You get it really cheap. Wolf says Elton's fig trees for the past few years don't get enough water to produce much leaves. Produce much. The leaves are brown and shriveled by late July. Huh. And I guess it would take more water than worthwhile to go ahead and water them. Runner Boy says we're going to start microgreens. Nice. Hey, you should share that on your channel when you do. Wolf says hi to Runner. Sue says I've always heard that there has to be more than one fig tree in the area for the trees to reproduce. Let's see what Odom, the fig expert, has to say about that. Odom says, I just got a new couch. My wife said the dogs weren't allowed to get on them, but she sent me a picture of my Mel St. Thomas piled up, sleeping on it. It was only a matter of time. Once you see your dog or your cat sleeping on the couch or the bed, it's all over. You're not going to chase them off of it. Wolf says Elton has 3 trees but not producing much. Bob says, nope, at times we can stay 2 weeks without rain. Well, yeah, that changes. I always thought because of the wetlands that there might be more rain, but I guess not. Odom says, no, Barb, most varieties we grow in the States are self-pollinated. Barb says, hi to Runner Boy. Odom says, yes, I pinched my figs to simulate fig growth and new branches. Amazing how we must have discovered that. You know? Did our ancestors accidentally pinch a fig and find that? Is it something you think that we know innately, deep within us? That we know how to grow food because it's like information of the cosmos that we channel. Sue says, Odom, what can you do about dogs and sofas? You can take a photo of them and send them to your spouse. Odom says he posted a picture on his community page. Let's bring that up real quick. So, he found his spot, Odom. He found his spot for sure. I see our friend Brian Lane was there already. And Sue was there. Awesome. Barb says, I think it's because there's no shade where they're at, and the soil is not good. Ellen don't take care of anything. Sue says, connected to Odom, left a comment on that picture of your dog on the couch. I just saw that. Awesome. Odom says, thank you. He's a mess, but I love him. Here's what we know about Odom. He's a man of deep faith, loves his family, loves his dogs, loves his garden. Odom says it's in our DNA. Yeah, you know what? I think so too. I just think it's we were given that. If we lost, every book on gardening, but we had to grow our own food, we would figure it out pretty shortly because we just, as Odom said, it's in our DNA. Barb agrees. She says, so true, Odom. Sue says, and just like that, Yoga Squirrel appears and starts doing his thing. It is yoga time. Even squirrels got to stick with the schedule. You don't get to be a yogi by doing it, on a whim, whenever. Lee says, was just making boys' dinner, guys. What's for dinner, Lee? Barb says, all knowledge is from within ourselves and also the universe. I agree, Barb. That's how yoga came to be. The ancient yogis, the ancient seers and rishis, Rishi, which just means one of knowledge, person of knowledge, that um, they attained all the knowledge of yoga by simply listening to the universe, watching the sky, watching animals stretch, moving through the motions, but above all, listening and listening and listening. That's how they came with, if everything was still all across the world, we would hear the great hum of the universe, and it sounds like Om, and modern cosmologists have confirmed that. And yet somehow the ancient rishis heard that, as well as 108 other primordial sounds. Odom says, that's my side of the couch. Odom, that was your side of the couch. He says, Eric, what are the temps? Are you hitting where you are? It's been nice the past few days. We were in the hundreds, low hundreds, for a couple weeks. It got cooler, like in the mid to low 90s, which is still pretty hot here with high humidity. But the last probably week, it's been in the low to mid 80s, sometimes the high 80s, maybe even occasionally getting to 90, but lower humidity, so it feels really good. You guys had a bit of a rough summer, didn't you? Odom says, I try to love everyone like God loves us. You certainly set a good example, Odom. Barb says, Amen, Odom, I agree. Barb says, 95 degrees here, high humidity, and pollen high. Yeah, the pollen is really high here. Um, I don't have like seasonal allergies, but when the pollen gets really high, it starts. My eyes right now are really watery. I'm a little stuffed up. My throat's a little sore. Lee says, Odom, love the example. If you guys ever want to see something incredible, uh, watch one of Odom's live streams where he will spontaneously break out um, in song, praise, his connection with God, being out in his garden, the love that he feels spontaneously, just singing, beautifully singing. That was one of the first things I saw with Odom. And I immediately, man, I knew that I was in the company of a deeply, deeply faithful man. Jace is here. Jace, my friend, how are you? First Scott says, you made a typo on your title. Uh, what's up? Just the Yogi Live. Is it a typo or is it a deep yogic, a deeply yogic word symbolizing the infinite nature of our soul connection? You decide. I'll be honest with you, it's a typo. Odom says, it felt good this morning. Now it's about 20 degrees cooler. 20 degrees cooler than hell. Well, yeah, we're starting to get those brisk mornings. So there's definitely a hint. We're getting closer to autumn. I've mentioned it before and I wrote about it before. Meteorologically, they say that autumn actually starts the beginning of September, September 1st. because scientifically, they go by trends in the weather. Little bit of adjustments, little bit cooler. The sun coming up a little bit later. Astronomically, and according to the Gregorian calendar, they go by the equinoxes. I sort of like both. I love the equinox because I love the fact that, you know, you literally can see the changes. That December 20th is the shortest day of the year. Jason's waving at Prescott. Barb says, "Did you know about Medic being ill? He posted today." No, I didn't hear that. I know he hasn't been around lately, and people have asked about him. Brennan Boy says, "I'm out of the shower now. I'll make a new channel when I start the microgreens. I'll get an iPad just for it and make a new Gmail for that. I need to watch vids on how to start." Hey, Odom could probably steer you in the right direction. Odom, as well as K. Renee's Garden and Micro Farmer. He says, "Runner Boy, good evening." Jay says, "I cooked an awesome meal. Full now and looking forward to a long walk with my girl. It's a lot cooler here." Nice. I'm glad it cooled off. I know you guys had a really hot summer. Makes me wonder, what are places like Great Britain going to do um, if summers keep getting hotter? Because I know a lot of places don't have AC. What do you guys in the UK think? Runner Boy says, "I'd probably just film the entire process of starting and stuff." Yeah, I think that's the way to go because people can follow your journey or even follow along with you, do it themselves too. Jace waves at Runner Boy. Prescott is laughing. Hey, Prescott, I read an article yesterday about it's the younger generation that brought about the change in Bangladesh. That's what you guys did. So well done. It shows that we can change the world. Odom says, "Yes, God has brought me uh, a long way from the person I used to be." Yeah, you mentioned that. Both you and I have actually talked about our journey before. Fascinating to hear. It's hard to imagine um, a less than gentle Odom. He says, "Jace, found a lovely walk here today, which Zena will like. Leads on to the sea cliffs. Nice." So you're pretty close to the sea, I guess, Lee, right? Prescott says, "Yogi trying to pass off typos as yogic words." Hey, it was worth a try. I couldn't maintain it for long. Running Boy says, "I'll be going live later for an arm workout." Nice. Do you know what time? He says, "Running Boy, what time?" Running Boy says, "Well, I'll install a simple fan on the ceiling, which would help a lot." Running Boy says it's 7. Cool. I'll make sure to check it out. Running Boy says, "Doesn't know when, just in a few hours. So I'll keep an eye out for it." Odom says, "I was a mean and heartless person. However, the The authentic Odom was always present, just needed to be revealed. Just like with Michelangelo and David, I mentioned that this morning when he was asked, how did you ever carve David out of a single block of stone? And he said he didn't. David was already in the stone, and he took away everything that was not David. So this authentic, loving, compassionate Odom was always present. God just needed to remove all the stuff that wasn't Odom to reveal his essence, who he is. And I'm glad he did, my friend. Let's see. Lee says, Eric, about 3 miles from the sea. I'm on the border of 2 counties, Cornwall and Devon. I had looked up Cornwall not long ago and was reading about it. Fascinating history. They are supposedly sort of known as to be quirky people, having a lot of sort of outgoing and weird in a good way personality. Whenever I use the term weird, I mean it in the best possible way. Vincent's here, says, hey everyone. Orb Spice, how are you? How are you? How's Mrs. Vincent? Or I'm sorry, how is Mrs. Horror Spice? Becky. You guys connected with Horror of Spice? Hey, how's your LLC going? Runner Boy says I might get a small solar powered battery for the lights I'll need for the microgreens. Do you really need lights for the microgreens, or can you just use the ones that you already have? I always thought that it was sort of a low maintenance thing. Jace waves at Spice, and we get a wave back. Runner Boy says, why was David hiding in a stone? Because to carry that metaphor over, we are all hiding in the stone of a false reality. We were told from birth by our parents, by our teachers, by relatives, by media, books, magazines, clergy, who we were. And it built up a stone around us that keep us from realizing who we truly are. And most of us will go through life without ever realizing it. Every once in a while, we meet someone or there's something that breaks the surrounding stone around us, and we're revealed who we are. That's what happened with Odom. As he said up above, he was a mean and selfish person. But that was just the stone around him. That was just the shell. We do that because we believe it keeps us safe somehow. But of course it doesn't. It keeps us blocked off. You can be open and loving and vulnerable, or you can be safe. You can't be both. However, when we allow ourselves to be open and loving and vulnerable, ironically, paradoxically, we find that safety lies in our openness. In Course in Miracles, it says that our strength lies in our defenselessness. If you have nothing to defend, nothing can be taken away from you. You can't be harmed. That doesn't mean you let someone hit you, or you don't, if someone attacks you, you don't defend yourself. It means that you are doing it without defending who you are. Does that make sense? That's why I don't worry about trolls or anything like that. They're not attacking me. They don't even know me. It took me 40 years to figure out who I am. How do I expect someone who shows up on a screen on my live stream to know me if it took me so long to figure that out. Let's see. Goldie's here. Goldie, how are you? Goldie says, hi there, lovely people. Hi there, lovely Goldie. Prescott says, yes, every time I accidentally call you Yoig, I'm not doing a typo. Yogi is it's a Bangla word to show very great respect. I knew it. I knew it all along. Odom says, I call him Blue. He was bitter and broken. That's the whole essence of the song Amazing Grace. We can all receive amazing grace. You know, we talked about this before. The story of Amazing Grace. He was a slave trader bringing a cargo of slaves. I hate that expression, cargo of slaves. He was bringing people taken from another place, and he was delivering them as if they were commodity. Not even thinking about it. He had done it hundreds of times before. That was his profession. Yet somehow, through the hardness of who he was, through the stone of what he was, an amazing grace broke through, and he had a realization of the horror of what he was doing, and he turned the ship around, and he let the people go. And he became a minister of God. That's amazing grace. We're all subject to it if we open to it, if we ask for it. That's why at one point in our life, we should all pray that we get our heart broken, because it's a broken heart that's the most spacious. It's a broken heart that's the most compassionate. It's the broken heart that has more to give. As Leonard Cohen sang, everything has a crack in it, because that's how the light gets in. And once the light gets in, all that can happen is it breaks, so it pours out and pours out and pours out. Let's see. Vincent says, Becky as well. I am well. LOC is coming. Still waiting. Looking forward to the announcement. Hope I can help in some way. Definitely share you out across the board on social media. He says, Celtic place Cornish have their own language, and Cornell heritage. Legend says King Arthur lived in Tintagel, Cornwall, and there is a lost land beneath the sea called Avalon. I've heard the last part of Avalon. I first became familiar with Cornwall through reading Louis the Moore paperback westerns, and they talked about some of the characters when they were boys. Their father taught him Cornish wrestling, which was, an early form of submission wrestling. It's pretty fascinating. Wonder Boy says, I don't, Serpy, do we need a grow light? I don't, surely would need a grow light. We'll see what Odom has to say about that. Do we need a grow light for microgreens? Jace says, Rana, if you do an indoor with no windows, you will need a light. Thank you, Jace. Appreciate that. Runner Boy says, Jace, if it's one window only, really getting morning light. It might not hurt to have it, Probably better to have it than not to. Prescott says, Yogi, I recommend that you dual stream Twitch and YouTube at once. Twitch is the largest streaming platform and the first. You can get more viewers, and Twitch has Much better freedom of speech. The thing is, I don't know anything about it, and I'm not technophobic, but I'm techno-clueless with little desire to learn. Let's see. Aspen says, "Yo, I'm from Lardarks Live. I follow you, by the way." Well, thank you, my friend. Let me click on your channel real quick. Well, there you go. I am subscribed back. And I just dropped a link, Aspen. I'm not sure if everyone can open it, but if you can, just go visit Aspen. Hey, Laradox went live, and he's very natural, very calm. He's a better live streamer than I am, to be honest with you. So yeah, he's definitely a natural with it. Jay says, "Runner depends on what you want to grow. You need so many hours of light for different plants." I think mainly the greens, microgreens. We get a wave from Jace. Speaking of Jace, 730 subscribers, guys. We're only 170 away from a new Mr. 1K in town. If you're not subscribed to Jace, man, why not? Jace is awesome. His workouts will take you from wherever you are now to wherever you would like to be. As well, he will open you up. He'll open your heart up. Goldie says she is at work. Is this a long day, Goldie? Sorry, I had missed your statement before. Work the Orc is here. Mork, how are you, my friend? Welcome back. Wonderboy says, "Are they microgreens? Maybe we are thinking of different things." Maybe. I'm thinking microgreens, you know, like lettuce type stuff. Asia says, "Have a good rest of your day." You too, my friend. Thank you for coming by. I hope you get some writing in today. Jace waves at Mork, and nice greeting from Jace. Kyle's here. Hey, Kyle, how are you? Odin says, "I don't think microgreens require much light. With microgreens, let them sprout and grow a little, then you eat them." Sounds simple enough. Hey, our friend Amy's here. Amy McFarlane. Hello, everyone. Yogi, Amy, how are you? If you guys want to visit a really fun channel, Amy McFarlane has a really great channel. You get to see a very skillful art form. And there's Amy's channel. Aspen says, "Thanks. You're welcome, my friend. Happy to connect." Aspen says, or Jace says, "I've subbed to Aspen." Odom says, "Have a blessed day, everyone. Let me finish off the workday." Thank you for hanging out, Odom, and the information. Much appreciated. Guys, make sure if you have any gardening questions, hey, if you just like a good channel, you get to hang out in Odom's garden, Odom's homestead, and make a really good friend. Definitely connect with Odom. Amy is waving at Jace. Walking with Goldie says, yes. Well, I hope we can provide a little company, help get you through. Gonna be live probably for at least another 10 minutes, I think. Prescott says, okay, Yogi, I'll give you a step-by-step guide. Create an account using your email or phone and a password. Go to settings, verify using your phone number. Only if you use email, then make a profile. Already sounds complicated. And boom, you can live stream on Twitch. I'm not sure more people actually need to see me. Thanks for dropping your link, Jace. That's definitely support our friends. I mentioned before that Jace is not a fitness channel. It's a Jace channel, and Jace does fitness. What makes it a Jace channel? Jace's heart, what he puts out there. Those are the best channels. The ones when people, this is why I absolutely love Odom's Homestead, is the passion and the love of what he's doing. This is why I like Amy McFarland's channel, the passion and love of what she's doing. And Amy, if I'm not mistaken, this was a relatively new thing that you took up, right? Like in just a number of years? Prescott says, but only catch, you'll have to read Twitch chat on some device and YouTube on the other. Yeah, man, you see how hard it is for me just to do YouTube? You really want to see me try to do both? Look how far behind I get just when I go off on a, yogic tangent. Aspen says, I have a hockey camp to go, so I must leave the stream. I unfortunately cannot join back as my camp goes to around 7 p.m. Have an amazing day, all of you. You as well, Aspen. Enjoy the hockey camp. I believe James Gipe just went live. I think. If you guys are looking to grow your channel, James Gipe is one of the places to do it. As well, hey, our friend William Downey is live. It's always a fun time hanging out with William Downey. Prescott says, I'll have to sub to Aspen too. Remind me of Flower. Don't know why. Amy says, thank you, Yogi. You're welcome, my friend. Lee says, Eric, do you prefer Eric or Yogi? Honestly, doesn't matter for me at all. Probably the majority of people just say Yogi, which might be easier as we have our friend Eric Lapointe. Or William Downey usually says Eric 1 and Eric 2, but then we never know who Eric 1 is and who Eric 2 is. I think it's interchangeable. I think sometimes I'm Eric 2 and sometimes he's Eric 1. I think he gives me seniority due to age, but then you could just call me old Eric versus young Eric, unless we get an even older Eric show up, which I'm not sure there's too many older Erics out there. Jay says, Eric, complicated? It does not, obviously, it does not take much for me to for me to feel complicated, for things to complicate. See that? I'm even making the word complicated complicated. Prescott says, both Eric and Yogi is okay to him. Absolutely. Aspen says, thanks. You're quite welcome. I'm glad you stopped by. Prescott says, I call him Yogi because Eric sounds weird to me. In that case, it's fitting, actually. I think maybe Eric is the weirdness of Eric is a fitting for the weirdness of Eric. He says, true, very true. I like the fact that we can all talk about anything on your channel, Eric. You appreciate all of us, and we appreciate you. Well, thank you for that. You know what? It was that very thing that Eric Lapointe said, as well as Duncan Walsh, of why I decided to do the membership. Because, as Eric Lapointe says, when you do your membership, you can just talk about yoga. You can just talk about meditation, different types of spirituality, breath work, all that stuff. And you can still talk about it here, but you also have room to talk about all the other stuff that comes up, which is a lot, and it's always fun. And I would never want to limit it to just be about the stuff that I want to talk about. Prescott says, Yogi, you need to step up your game. You can earn money on Twitch with only 50 followers. Someone suggested I do TikTok, that my breathwork stuff would be big on TikTok. I know nothing about TikTok. Mir says, so Yogi, Brother Jason, me live together 15th of August, which is in 2 more days. Awesome. Man, that's going to be an event. I'm looking forward to that. 2 awesome people together, 1 room. Prescott says, nice Mir. Lee says, good evening, Mir. Prescott says, Yogi, are you an average cookie cutter white guy? Definitely, definitely a white guy. Am I average? No, I'm definitely not average. I'm not above average. I'm just weird. I've lived my life for better for worse by my own terms, which has gotten me into a lot of sometimes trouble, but a lot of adventures as well. But also probably compromised my ability to earn a living. I've had jobs. I never settled on a career. I always left jobs when I was threatened with promotion. I was good in middle management, which would make people want to bring me to upper management, which to me felt like a threat. I felt the walls closing in, so I would either ask for a demotion or I would leave and go do the same thing somewhere else. But yeah, average, maybe below average. Let's just say weird. Happily so, for the most part. The funny thing is, man, learning how to grow in and appreciate and love your own weirdness, to be who you are. That's not easy. J. Krishnamurti talks about that. To be yourself in a world that wants you to be anything else but yourself. And trust me, the world does not want you to be your true self. Society wants you to fit in, and every once in a while do something extraordinary if you can make some money. But don't be extraordinary just by being you. Be extraordinary by, commercialism. You can't be an extraordinary average person. Of course, we are, all of us. But we're not supposed to be. We're supposed to stay inside the lines, color the sky with the right colored crayon, color the earth with the right colored crayon. And if you do the opposite, there will definitely be a teacher somewhere in your life who will say you're not supposed to do it that way. Jay says, Mir brother, we need to swap email and phone numbers. Do you have Eric's details? Oh, wow. Mir's going to go to his live stream with his hawk. Nice. Mir says, Jace, if you want my email, I send there. Prescott says, the only thing you need to know about TikTok, it's Chinese spyware, and it's getting banned in the US soon. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Jason's going to be right back in 2 minutes. Prescott says, Bear, remove your email. Please, it's unsafe to give you email. Worse, if it's your personal email. Oops, I've been doing that quite a bit. Mir says, no problem, brother. I know about that. Prescott says, all right. And Mir says, thanks for your kindness, bro. Yeah, you know what? That's the thing about Prescott. He does look out for other people. He's a good guy. Much appreciated for Prescott. Feels like he's been here forever. He mentioned the other day, it's only since like April, but it feels like it's been a long time. Jay says, I've messaged you, Mir. Nee is here, and he says, hey, Nee, how are you? Everyone's saying hey to Nee. He says, I'm good. How are y'all? Good. Having a good day. Having a good live stream. It's been fun. We'll talk maybe for 5 more minutes. We'll wrap it up. I'll be back later. Prescott says, bad. I'm in a sucky mood. You know what? You wouldn't be able to tell it from you hanging out. I've seen you in a bad mood before. So, just a couple things really quick. That, again, our friend Jace is at 730. I'm just refreshing his page. He's at 731. He was at 730. Now at 731. And we're going to do a big push, guys, to hit that 1K. And I'd love to see the watch hours and the subscribers match, like almost to the day. That would be so awesome. Our friend Optimom is fast approaching that second. He's got a new membership as well. You guys can join and get all the perks of hanging out with Optimom. Early premieres, all that stuff. And they're getting close to hitting that final watch hour time. So if we can push for that. I've been having Amy up, Amy McFarland, and helping out with some watch hours as well. It's just fun to watch what she's doing. You can get the best of all that. You can put someone up, put their playlist up, and you can have it up through the day so it helps with watch hours. And then at odd moments, you just go in and see what they're doing. You learn so much. You get a new appreciation for all the skills the different skills that people have and how they present it in an art form. Oh, I had mentioned that Amy was relatively new. She started her Scroll Star journey. I'm looking at her channel right now, October 2023. So we're talking just over a year, or just around a year. Reaper says, do burpees. Man, you can't argue with that logic. And Jay seconds that, do burpees. Today, by the way, speaking of burpees, is 2-Pump Tuesday. Did you guys get the 2 pumps in? Nee says, how old are you? Man, I'm pretty old. I am 59 years old. Jason's 50. Prescott says 59. Yep. Burpee Reaper is 40. Prescott says, yes, Yogi is 59. Less than a year away from the big 6-0. I'm considering coming out of ultra running retirement and trying to do another 100 in my 60s, maybe another 100 in my 70s, maybe another 100 in my 80s. We'll see what the 60s bring to me, guys. Who knows? 50s weren't a bad decade. I ran my first 100-miler a week after my 50th birthday. Mir says, only not burpee with membership of Mir, bro. Ah, by the way, thank you for that reminder, Mir. Our friend Mir has now the ability to super chats. Guys, if you like what he's doing, if you want to help him support his birds, super chat as well. Become a member. You're not just helping Mir, you're helping his channel, you're helping the birds. All good reasons. Reaper says, Unc did 1K Navy SEALs, Eric, at 59. Just saying. Just a number. Absolutely, Reaper. I have no doubt that I could do 100 in my 60s. The question is, man, do I want to get back to that type of training? Part of me absolutely loved it, but I'm so focused on distance that some other stuff, like I was 20 pounds heavier before ultra running, considerably stronger. Not that I'm weaker, not that I'm weak, but I was training something specific, kettlebell sport, which is a brutal sport. But you streamline your physique in order to fit what you're doing. So I'd rather carry a little less weight if I'm going to try to run 100 miles. But man, it can be hard training. It can be lonely training. Kayla's here. Kayla, how are you? Here says, now burpee watch time done soon, man. Nice. I'd love to see Brian Lane get 1K. And Jace get 1K for sure. Jay says, Uncle has two hearts, though. He's different. He certainly is. Let's see. Prescott says, Yogi, not a joke, but for real, you look like if Winnie the Pooh was vertically compressed. I'm going to have to visualize Winnie the Pooh. I guess that's not bad. Probably better than Eeyore. Probably better than Piglet. Kayla says, big likes. Thank you, Kayla. Mir says, we celebrate 50th birthday, me and Jace together soon. Nice. Kayla says, good evening, everyone. Moira says, home is a visiting home, but I don't know what else to call a temporary location. Moira says, look like I missed quite a bit. A little bit. I wouldn't say you missed it. Welcome home, William. I know it's not where you want to be, but it's where you are. And from this point, man, William, from this point, the entire universe greets you. You can figure out what to do and where you should be. William Downey is here and says, Yogi, I was talking about you earlier, William. I saw that you were live. I told everyone they should go visit you. Hanging out with William is always a lot of fun. Reaper says, William, I hope everything is okay. Thank you for that, Reaper. Prescott says, I heard Urdu is similar to Hindi. Is that true, Mir? It's a good question, Prescott. William says, you don't have to use multiple devices for multiple channels. You can use a service like Restream, but you can also monitor both chats via PC. Now that sounds complicated. I think, man, YouTube itself is complicated enough for me. Kayla says hi to Burpee Reaper. William, how you doing? Reaper says, chicken breast for dinner. Did you guys know that Burpee Reaper is soon to be the Spartan Burpee Reaper? 11 days away from the big race. Norm says, hi everyone in chat. Say a big hello. Kayla says, got you up and lurking, Famsky. Well, thank you for that. Norm says, thank you, Louise. Just trying to find some kind of work for income. With everything coming back clear on my criminal record, I am ready to leave Florida. So you're in Florida now. Lee says, good evening to William Downey and William Hart. To the Williams. Rear says, I want to see my fourth member, Kayla. Reaper says, William, go to Mexico if you got to leave the country. Man, I used to think if I had to, sell my house, I'd get some type of small camper van and drive out to the Copper Canyons. Hang out with the Ramari. William says, I'm good. If you're asking me, Yogs, I am asking you. Glad to hear you good. William Downey, have you grown into your new haircut? You feeling more comfortable with it? Was it last week? You were saying that you needed to fix it. Rose says, I need my passport to leave country, and that is minimum 6 weeks once started. Mir says, you guys, special thanks for your support and kindness. Absolutely, my friend. Prescott says, William, if you don't what do you mean? Don't mind, what do you mean criminal record? You committed a crime? Oh, it came back clean. Reaper says, do not enter Mexico, William. Mir's asking where you want to go, William. William says, everyone can. Ignorance of law doesn't excuse breaking it. That's true. William says it's better safe than sorry. Reaper says, laws are meant to be broken. Don't let our friend William Downey hear you say that. Like records. William says, Mr. Hardy is still worried about what we chatted about. Has someone contacted you? Reaper's going to be honest. He's always honest. William says, I did not know you did not need one to enter Mexico. What about getting back? I honestly thought Canada. They have a lot of good food up there. It's just too cold. It is pretty cold, although Vancouver isn't so bad. Prescott says, why do people associate old people with kid videos? I didn't know they did. I've never heard that. Reaper says, I know Mr. Williams. William says, who told you? William Downey says, who told you your record was clean? Reaper says, you can cross back to the U.S. William without one. Without anything. Reaper says, I know it's bad, but it's always been done. William Hart says it doesn't cover federal. Well, I mean, have you ever been picked up for anything? Friend of Boy says, okay, watch the video on microgreen growing. You got everything you need? Everything you need to know? Reaper says, what did you do, William? Reaper says, sorry, man. Our friend Sean is here. Good evening, Eric and chat. Hope you're all well. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you guys showing up. I was actually about to end the live stream about 20 minutes ago, but we'll go another 5 minutes or so. I'll be back again, 2 hours or so. Runner Boy says, yeah, seems simple enough. Only problem is light. For me being in the UK, all I need is a LED light. That should be simple enough, right? Should be able to get one fairly inexpensive. William says they got a citation once for speeding, but to my knowledge, nothing. I just wanted peace of mind with it. I forgot to update my registration when I went back temporarily to another state and was worried could maybe miss a summons or something stupid. Yeah, but you know what? I think that kind of stuff is If it did happen, understandable. I agree with Reaper. You shouldn't worry. All right, guys, we're going to wrap things up. Room Danny says, well, Ms. Hart, if you got a criminal site or a civil. He says, you have a lot of books behind you. I do have a lot of books behind me. I have a lot of books behind me, a lot of books to my side. I got a room full of books. More books in the next room than I have in here. I got a bookshelf in the hallway, one bookshelf in the next room, 3 bookshelves downstairs, and then a basement full of books. Not all of them are mine. All the ones in here are mine. Barb says it was for expired registration and speeding. I'm having issues with an expired registration because it was a car that I inherited from my father. It was held up in the process. The executor of the will was ill, not able to take care of everything. Problem with the insurance, and then a problem with the registration. Hopefully Thursday I'm going to get it all worked out. So hey, I might not have a late night live stream because I might be stuck at the DMV. We'll see. People said they drove without a license for 15 years. He says, you have a favorite book? I have a lot of favorite books. Fiction, I always forget to mention this, The Razor's Edge, Lonesome Dove, Jitterbug Perfume, 100 Years of Solitude. Nonfiction, probably Autobiography of a Yogi. Breathe by James Nestor, wonderful book. And Born to Run. But it changes. If you ask me that question tomorrow, I might give a different answer. Reaper says, never stopped me from driving. Reaper says, I got pulled over 5 times total, and it was never for something I did wrong. Huh. Tinted windows. Weird that would be such a big crime, you know? Reaper says he was an example. I don't think any speeding would be a felony unless it was speeding with recklessness, reckless driving. Gregory says, no more pulling people over for busted tail lights or dark tint. Life and happens, and that tint window protects me and my family. Huh. Reaper says that's why she took my car. Man, she actually took your car? And he tinted his windows again. I'm not even going to get into my brushes with the law. There have been a few. One of the best things that ever happened to me involved me getting pulled over. Entire course of my life was changed. I will always was a off-duty state trooper. Will always hold place in my heart for what they did without even knowing. Literally changed my life, literally saved my life, and literally saved other people's lives. Rome says, I honestly dislike Florida drivers. They are dangerous. Well, William Downey says not even reckless driving here is a felony. Reaper says, I said, shit, I'm going to get it back. And he did. I think the lesson in all that, you just don't mess with the Burpee Reaper. Leave well enough alone. You don't mess with the Burpee Reaper, he won't mess with you. That should be written somewhere. That should be in a book and studied. It should be every police manual. Page 36. You don't mess with the Burpee Reaper, and he won't mess with you. Heart laughing out loud. I would never mess with Louise. It's just a good rule of thumb, you know? For one, do you want to mess with a guy named Burpee Reaper? Can you imagine when he was born and his mom looked at that glint in his eyes and said, one day he will be the Burpee Reaper? Let's see. William says, Yogi, I haven't checked my email, but have you emailed me yet? I have not. But hey, let's pinpoint a date. Let's try something this upcoming weekend for sure. Or hey, let me know what's a good day. Let's see. Goldie says, sorry, lovely people, wasn't able to chat. Well, I hope that we were able to provide you some company at least, Goldie. Reaper says she knew I was going to drive again, so I'm panning my car. Very interesting. You thinking about law enforcement, William Hart? Reaper says, Mr. Williams, what would you have done? William, Dan, and I will do a live stream together, and we will get down to some serious business of discussing everything you guys need to know about the history of modern rock. Although if you wanted to, William, I could take it all the way back. We can go from 1950s onwards. I'm going to top out at 1990 something. Although recently, on the independent indie labels, we're putting out some good music in. There's a return to rockabilly, a return to traditional awesome country music. Um, sorry, I had to laugh. That was funny. William Downey says, "Put you in a sleeper hole." That was funny. No hesitation. He didn't think about it. He didn't say, "Huh, let me get my big book of laws. What should I do? What would I have done?" He had to put you in, he had to put you in a sleeper hole. I got to write down all the times that William Downey has generally made me laugh out loud. Reaper says he'd wake up and he'd still drive again. He'd shrug it off. He'd dust off shoulders. Reaper says I would have tossed the donut box. You know what? The ending of this conversation made me really glad that I stayed extra time on the live stream. William says, I think Phil would win against Louise. A little bit of struggle, but I think experience would give him an edge. Let's see. Reaper says you'd have to catch me first, William. You can outrun radio. Excellent point. Excellent point. All right, man. You guys literally had me cracking up. Reaper says he knows tunnels. Rob Downey says, I love you guys. Absolutely. For the rest of the day, I'm going to be thinking of William Downey putting the Burpee Reaper in a chokehold. All right, guys. I got a few things to do. I'll be live again later. Rob Hart says, when I see an arm wrestling match, for sure. Gonna have a burpee contest. All I know, everything's gonna be different in 11 days. Everything's gonna be different. There'll be a Spartan warrior in the house. Mir says, bye all guys, enter Yogi. Take care, Mir. All right. With that, definitely going to wrap things up. Rose says, are you hiring perchance? Take peanuts for skills. Reaper says he's his own boss. Oh, William Downey says, what's 11 days? 11 days. Burpee Reaper becomes the Spartan Reaper. He's doing a Spartan event. 10K obstacle course. He's getting that medal. He got tired of the J having more medals than him. Rose says 10K is nutty, plus there is 30 obstacles or something. 25 obstacles. None of them easy. None of them easy. But you know what? After watching Burpee Reaper with the sledgehammer, it got me thinking, and I mentioned that, Reaper. Your job, you've been training for the Spartan. Anytime you're using a sledgehammer, anytime you're using any of the tools that you do, you're training for the Spartan event. Prescott says, Yogi, can you show us the outside of your window? Maybe. We can try. I'll do this and then we're going to go. You can see my Buddha statue. I don't know what you can see because I can't see it from that angle. Guys, you can also see my, speaking of metals, you can see my C&O Canal 100 mile belt buckle. You got another buckle there. My other bookshelf. My dogs. There you go. Brief tour. Brief tour of my room. Beepa says, Eric needs a yard cleaning. I like to think of it as a pollinator garden. Whenever the neighbors complain, I say it's a pollinating garden, and they leave me alone. And Mocha's like, you know, you're just lazy. It's not a pollinating garden. It isn't. But hey, if you were my neighbor and you came by and you said, man, you got to do something with your lawn, and I said, man, I'm just too lazy. I don't want to. You'd probably file a complaint. However, if he knocked on my door and you said, man, you got to do something about your lawn, and I said, well, it's an environmental friendly pollinator garden. It is here for the protection of the environment. Then they're like, oh, well, we didn't know. And they walk away. But you guys know the truth. I'm just lazy. Everyone says I have to run. Iran just threatened Israel with almost certain war. Worried about my kids being drawn in. Hey, William, well, sending out prayers to everyone concerned. Sending out prayers specifically for your kids, my friend. For you and your kids, your whole family. Prescott says we're going to use that from now on. Oh, you can use it for everything. Prescott, if your parents come in and say you got to clean your room, say, no, it's a pollinating garden. I got stuff laying around because, you know, for the pollinators. Rome says, oof, I would be drafted too, probably. Well, I'm hoping Reaper's right. We get a ceasefire. I know they'll be talking about it, on Thursday? Optima, my friend, thank you. Very much appreciated. Laradox is here. Laradox says hi. William says, see you in a few hours, guys. Yep, let's send out some prayers, guys. Laradox, excellent live stream, my friend. You did a good job. I mentioned you above. You are a better live streamer than I am by far. Really good job. Reaper says, Williams, be safe, buddy. Absolutely. Timo says, hi, everyone. Timo, my friend, how are you? All right, guys, I apologize. I'm going to shut things down. Gonna make something to eat. Not really cook. I'm gonna have a big bowl of greens. He says, have a good day, rest of your day. You too, my friend. Appreciate you guys stopping by, keeping me company. Again, I'll be back like 2 hours or so. Thanks for stopping in. Timo, my friend, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Who says he will be live 2 hours and 10 minutes roughly. Absolutely. So, hey, big prayer. We got to start praying for peace. We have to pray for peace. That's all I can say. Prescott says, good afternoon, Yogi. Thank you, Prescott. You guys take care. I'll see y'all in a little bit.